Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday. It's Thursday. Happy Halloween to everyone. We'll go ahead and get started with our meeting, call to order, and I'll need a motion to approve the agenda as submitted. I have a motion, need a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Approval of minutes. Are there any additions, deletions, changes to the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve. All right, we have a motion, have a second. All in favor? Aye. Minutes are approved. All right, number 2, action items. Plans for improvement. We'll start off with Wingate Elementary School.
Before we begin, I do want to call up Dr. Healy and Dr. Hogston to quickly just review the school improvement plan process and that we've gone through, and then have Wingate come up immediately following that, just because I think it's important to have the background of where we are at this point with our school improvement planning process, because a lot has changed over the last year. And so at this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Healy to kind of quickly go through the background and with Dr. Hogston and then what we're doing now.
So I have a handout for you that just gives you a little bit of the background with Union County Public Schools and how we have historically done school improvement plans, because that looks a little bit different this year. You know, in the past, we have used the state created Excel format that was kind of cumbersome and didn't look good on the websites. And so we used that for a little while until we went ahead and created our own template and made it much more user-friendly. It looked better. It contained all the components that we needed. We found a way to combine Title I with the school improvement plan that all the schools use, so they weren't having to do double duty on that. So we had come a long way with that. And then a couple of years ago, the state introduced N.C.Star for our low-performing schools. And it has a great process that goes with it. It's a comprehensive kind of tool that involves lots of stakeholders, lots of staff members, almost 100% of the staff members in some of the components of the planning process and the implementation of the plan. And so this year, we have decided to use N.C.Star for all of our schools based on the feedback we got from the schools who used it, the success they had. And so when you see these school improvement plans, you will see a different format. It's going to look differently, and there are some different components to it. In the past, if we had, you would see a lot of the schools have the same types of goals: a reading goal, a math goal, a parent involvement goal, a PLC goal, and that's where we were at that time, getting all those things under control, under measured, and having us move forward with those. But now what you're going to see is a different process, a different way of thinking. We don't have some of those same advanced ed requirements that we had in the past. Even if we did, we would include them in N.C.Star. They would fit nicely if we end up with some of those. But these are more tailored to the schools based on their needs assessment. The process that is advocated for by this format. So Dr. Hogston came to us with lots of experience with N.C.Star. So as we've moved toward this format, away from the other to this format, she's been leading the professional learning around it and the providing assistance to our principals in our schools. So she'll tell you a little bit more about the N.C.Star process.
Okay. So N.C.Star is different in that it's a web-based school improvement planning process, and it's real time. It's similar to a GPS in that it tells schools where they are and where they're going. And it includes the entire staff. So in the former school improvement planning, it was a few doing a lot. Now it's a lot doing a few, doing a little, so that everybody has a voice. The first thing that is in the process is called the assessment of 12 key indicators, and that includes every person on staff in the school. So it provides inclusion in the process and ownership and buy-in. The focus will be clear, responsible assignments. There's the schools to select certain indicators they want to focus on, and they create teams of staff members to help implement those goals and those objectives in the school. It provides structure to high quality work by school teams, and it's a great product. And I was out at a school just the other day, and a teacher said, "I love this because I finally know what we're doing. I finally know what we're doing with school improvement." So, yeah.
So question,
No, I think
with
it was
those
that she didn't, school improvement planning, that probably didn't come out as that the way she meant it. She was saying that she finally understood what the process of school improvement planning was.
so question, and then I know Mr. Sides has a question. You said there are 12 indicators as part of the process. Does that mean that all schools have to have a measurable goal for all 12, or do they get to pick a certain number?
So the process is that they create their goals, sort of like a 35,000 foot view goals. These are our school goals. And then they match the indicators with their problem of practice with the goals that they've selected. So there are, I think, 130 key or indicators, not key indicators, but the developers of the planning process developed 12 key indicators that all schools must assess on the in the implementation, the original implementation, or the when they start the process.
But there's no requirement to then set a goal for all 12
No.
because that would be impossible.
No, the suggestion is that they select between 4 to 6, maybe 4 or 5 that they want to work on.
Okay.
No, it would be impossible for a school to focus on all 12 of those. And for the 4 that they select, or the 5, they create action steps, and those action steps are what they're doing, their staff's doing towards school improvement.
And some of those indicators, they may be doing well already, and it's not something they would need. They may have worked on it in the past and feel like they're in really good shape for that, so they would call that fully implemented, and they provide evidence of that. So it may be that some are taken off the list that way, that they've already implemented.
For the board members and people out in the public, how do they access that information?
So what we're going to do, each school is going to be required to upload quarterly their N.C.Star plan, and it's called a comprehensive report, and you'll see what it looks like today with these 3 schools that are presenting. And that also provides documentation and evidence of continuous school improvement planning, that it's not just something that we say we're doing, but we're really doing it monthly. This process also requires 2 meetings a month of school improvement teams to look at where they're at and where they want to go, and the improvements that they've made.
So as a parent, a board member, a community member, if I'm interested in looking at a school improvement plan for XYZ school, where do I go?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is it live now?
Not yet.
No.
It's not live. Okay.
We will be sending all of the board members a zip file by the end of the day today that has all 53 of them in there. And then once those are approved next week, they will go on the websites like we have posted in the past. They just will look a little bit different from the format that we used previously.
So they'll be on each individual
They'll be on
school's
each
website.
individual's,
Okay,
and
thank
what
you.
we love is updating them quarterly
Quarterly.
so that you can see the progress that schools are making.
Could I suggest you make it an individual item on the drop-down menu on the left of each school so it's easily accessed? Is that the way
I
you
believe that's the
envision?
way they, yeah.
And do you know how it will be titled yet? Will it be school improvement plan?
Yes.
Basically, okay. All right.
Are we doing, is it something coming from central office where, or are we giving each school the opportunity to kind of choose which areas, the 4 or 5 they want to be able to select?
They select, it's
Okay.
Once they
total
assess-
school autonomy.
yeah, Once
Good,
they
that's-
assess their 12, they kind of rank order them, and again, matching them to their problem of practice and other things that they're moving forward with. It just really supports that work.
Good. That's good to hear.
You mentioned the 2 meetings per month of the improvement teams. Is the expectation that this document would then be updated twice a month after those meetings? Or what is the expectation for each school to have formally updated the plan?
It happens continuously.
Okay.
But on the websites, because they become static once we kind of pull them out, we would update quarterly, so it would
Okay.
represent any work that's been done during that quarter.
Okay. So it's not live on the school site. It has to be updated manually.
Has to be
Okay.
uploaded there.
All right. So maybe a little bit of lag time. Your school may have amended their plan, but it's not live yet on the site. Okay.
Correct.
And I think, Mr. Sides, from the beginning of time of public education, the idea of school improvement plans have historically meant one thing, which is compliance. You submit something to the state, it gets approved, and you put it on the shelf, and you never look back. And then in really great schools, what you'll find is that your school improvement process is flexible and agile and is constantly updated. And I think that's the intent of this new process, is to make it a living, breathing document and process that's updated on a regular basis and communicated to the public.
Could I make a recommendation that when when you do an update to the plan on a quarterly basis or what have you, that somehow that is acknowledged as an update, so that you can tell that, you do that in blue or whatever, that was a change since the last quarter? And does it have something that, I know in our overall plans, we have like a bar for progress towards completion of that goal? Is that included in that? So, we're halfway there, or we're 75%
Yes,
there?
it does.
It does?
The system updates that. So
Okay,
they have to, when they make their action steps, they have to put a target date.
right.
And if they meet the target date before, they put the date in there that they met that target. And it'll say, if there were 4, it'd say 25% met toward completion, 50%. So as they update it in the system tells them how close they are to fully implementation on that particular action.
So you can look at a glance and see that X school is behind the planned timeline for completion of an action item by just at a glance. Okay, great. Any other questions on that? Okay. Are we ready for Mr. Johnson?
And I do believe that also took care of the 2019-2020 school improvement plan, which is D on action items.
Okay.
But we can come back to that. But that was just an overview of the process. So yeah, let's move on with our plans for improvement with Wingate Elementary.
Well, Mr. Johnson, I'm going to give you an introduction first, because we have something in common. Mr. Johnson, and it's not this, is our teacher of the year, former teacher of the year, 2012, I believe, and also has a great educational background. He is also an alumni of the University of Illinois. So with that, Mr. Johnson.
You had to put a plug in it.
Had to put a plug. So Oski Wow Wow, and I will hand it off to you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that introduction.
Does that mean you're friendly today, or Oski Wow Wow? I don't know what that means.
Well, it's a secret. I'd tell you, but then I'd have to.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, and welcome. And my name is Maxie Johnson Jr. I am the proud principal of Wingate Elementary School, and would like for you guys to follow me with the presentation here. So, on our first slide here, you'll see. Slide 2 here. You'll see that I provided a 3-year trend of Wingate's student performance data. Wingate Elementary School had negative growth on this school year and has been designated a low-performing school. This was primarily due to our lack of math proficiency and growth. Our reading was flat, and so with that, you'll see in the 2018-19 school year that our growth was actually at a negative 2.85. Our school performance grade was at a 54.4, is 1/10 away from being a C school. All right. So if we look at this slide number 3, what I want to do right here is I want to focus on the accomplishments that you'll see here at Wingate Elementary School. In reading, we met growth for 2 consecutive years. To address the low performance in math, we have completed or implemented the 4th grade math tutoring model that is in place that you'll see at all of our focus schools. We were not a focus school, but we are implementing that tutoring model for our 4th graders. And also through our partnership with Wingate University, we are providing tutoring for all 5th grade students as well to help supplement those gaps there. Over a 2-year period, our science proficiency has increased by a total of 15 points. So I'm extremely proud of the work that's been put in there as well. If you move on to slide 4.
Could I interrupt you
Yes.
before we leave that page? What is the DLI program in kindergarten?
Okay, so the DLI program is your dual language immersion.
Oh, dual
program.
language
Yes, sir.
immersion. Yeah,
I do apologize
No,
if I
that's
had
okay.
that
I know.
acronym in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
So-
doing Spanish?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On slide 4, on this slide, we have 3 goals that are related to our growth and our proficiency. Goal 1 relates to our goals to school performance, and goals 2 and 3 relates to the grade level proficiency in reading and math. Wingate Elementary School will exceed growth, exit low performing status, and become a C school. Wingate Elementary School will continue to build classroom and school culture through social emotional learning, professional development opportunities as well. If you would look at slide 5 with me. To accomplish these goals that we have selected, these are the 4 key indicators that we just got through talking about through the NC.Star. We will focus on our core instruction and tiered system, strengthening our leadership team practices, improving the way our school utilizes student data, and improving how we effectively engage our parents in the learning process. On the next slide, I will get into the strategies to address these indicators. And that should get you to slide 6. And from those 4 indicators that I just presented, these are the 4 areas of focus in our plan of success. So our core instruction, our school performance data, leadership team practices, and parent engagement. So with our core, these are the 5 things that we are continuing to do within the core instruction. And I want to highlight the new partnership with UNCC and Dr. Chance Lewis and the culturally relevant teaching. Using our professional development funds that we have this year, I was able to enroll at least 50 teachers in an online certificate class this class is intended to improve those engagement strategies and to make curriculum relevant to our students. As a staff, we are participating in an ongoing professional development with Dr. Chance Lewis as well throughout the school year. When we look at school performance data, we are focused on collecting and analyzing ongoing data to drive our instruction. When we drop down to our leadership team includes our admin, our instructional coach, both master teachers, and we are using the instructional coaching model to support those teachers as well. And finally, in our parent engagement, we are emphasizing parent engagement in the learning process by offering more focused opportunities to learn how to support their children and to master that grade level content. And so those are, that is kind of, an overview of what we're doing here at Wingate Elementary School and how we're intending on to getting out of that low performing status.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Johnson, can you elaborate a little bit on the UNCC collaborative? And I'm curious, how many of our schools are part of that collaborative? And why did you and your leadership team seek out that partnership?
Okay. One of the things with UNCC, we got with Dr. Lewis, it was something that I've been looking at for just a short time and stuff a couple of years ago, but I just wasn't ready to pull the trigger from the standpoint. Wanted to make sure that we had our staff in place with transitions and turnover rates and different things like that. One of the things that we found out when we actually sent out a survey to our teachers and staff, some of the things that they were struggling with was working with our most neediest students. Trying to figure out how do we get them to learn when they're struggling with the SEL, with social emotional learning. How do we do that when they're coming from different backgrounds? Majority of our teachers are not African American. They're not from the same backgrounds that our students are and stuff. So that was a struggle there. So that is what prompted me to take a look and get in touch with Dr. Chance Lewis and figure out what he can do to offer assistance for our teachers to get that. And so now they are really working hard to understand and how to implement that into the classroom, all those different strategies so that we can reach every child.
When did you start that?
This started actually with this year. We got this in August. He's already been out twice. He will be coming out 3 more times. And we have goals and things that we'll be that we're meeting and attaining with that and stuff and different assignments as well.
So it's an online learning besides his visits on site?
No, his visits are here. He comes to the school.
Mm-hmm.
He will be bringing in tutors with him as well and stuff from his doctoral program. Those students will be coming in to help and assist. The class itself was it was a 3-week class, and those classes, it was self-paced and with a lot of articles about our students and our clientele and how we can help them do better. And so our teachers that got to read, we actually had to write responses back in a class format using Canvas.
And I'm assuming that the online class teachers, it's a certification program, but
It
teachers
is.
also get credit for professional development.
They certainly do. Yes.
Okay. So this is basically a advanced learning for teachers to career development,
Mhm.
to learn better, to define their skills to the student population they're teaching to,
Absolutely.
and the special
Absolutely.
needs of that population.
Absolutely specific.
Could you elaborate on the makeup of your school?
Absolutely. We have ours right currently. We have 43% of our students are Hispanic students, 37% African American, and so and then we have 17% white students, and then the others are embedded in there. So with that, we're looking at the challenges that we have in the reading aspect and the math, and just kind of understanding that. But that is our demographic makeup there.
Okay. Do you have an active PTO or PTA at the school?
Actually, we do, and is growing, and that is one area that we really targeted over this summer.
Good.
And I'm sorry.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, it's not. Our PTO is not new, but we've added some new members on there, and we specifically target our minority parents and stuff,
Good.
specifically with
Good.
our DLI program coming on. So when we were doing the recruiting and getting everybody there, we were kind of targeting parents, and they've been a big help. And so just added a different point of view to our school.
Okay. Now, I know we have 9 schools now, so it's kind of hard for me to keep track. So pardon me if you already are. Have you had thoughts about investing in the Leader in Me program for your school?
So we have not gone with the Leader in Me. We are using AVID, and AVID is advancement via individual determination. And it's very similar to Leader in Me. There's a lot of those qualities where we'll have our students that are actually classroom and school ambassadors. So, they're up and they're learning organizational skills and learning how to be leaders within the classroom.
They're doing goal setting, data
Yes.
tracking. Just as a reminder, last year was the first year that Marshville Elementary, Wingate, and East Union
Yes.
all became kind of certified AVID schools. Through the EPIC grant, teachers, leadership members have been
okay.
through hours of training over
Right.
the summer and last year, and they're in year 2 of implementation, and it's been very successful.
Excellent.
But it's another, I don't want to say program, it's a strategy to address
Correct.
school culture and high expectations and leadership qualities for students.
Are there other of our elementary schools that are involved in the UNCC collaborative? Or you the only one?
I
Or?
do believe that Walter Bickett has started some sort of
Okay.
that. We've been in contact. I've been talking with Dr. Daniels in regards with that, and how to,
Okay.
Dr. Lewis can help with with her school as well. And so I
Okay.
do believe that there's a smaller component going on there.
And this will continue throughout the school year?
Absolutely. This will take us all the way through the end of the school year.
Excellent. Okay. Any other questions?
I'm happy to hear what you guys are doing as far as the parental involvement, because that is so key in that area. I mean, that of everything I see on here, that is one thing we've got to improve, not just at Wingate, but countywide. And I focus on a minority involvement is particularly important, because it just means so much to the kids. It's the whole process. It is. But I had one question.
Yes,
The
sir.
instructional coaching model, what exactly is that?
So what it is we've got teachers that are actually, and specifically at Wingate, we have, co-teachers in our classrooms as well. We've got our instructional coaches. And our job is, Dr. Houlihan says it all the time, that even Tom Brady has a coach. And so I know you're a Cowboys fan like I am, but with all of that, oh my, forgive me.
You just lost a lot of
Yeah,
points.
yes. Okay, yeah, I got you. But with that, our teachers, we have really good teachers, and we have some that are, just average teachers as well. But everybody needs a coach, and how we can get better with them. So we've got a program and a system in place where every grade level has what we call a co-teacher or a master teacher on that grade level that can go in and they can see what's going on, and they can help those BT and those beginning teachers that are in their first 3 years of teaching, and they can help them get better at their craft in certain areas.
And the coaching model, specifically, about 3 or 4 years ago, the district adopted a common framework that's led by Jim Knight, Knight. I don't know what university or University of Kansas. And it's just a common framework that all of our coaches, our instructional coaches, our leadership team members, et cetera, are using around development. And I think that's the model
Yes,
that obviously has
absolutely.
been adopted for your master teachers and your
Yes, sir.
instructional coaches. And that's really the framework. The Jim Knight model of coaching is kind of the framework that he's talking about.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, thank you.
Any other
Thank you.
questions? Well, I always have the last question. Since I've been involved in this process, I've always asked,
Okay.
is there anything as a board that we need to do to help you moving forward to continue on your path to success? Is there anything that any way we can be of any more assistance?
Honestly, we have everything that we need. We do, and we're executing all those things. Going forward, doing the things that we need to do, and just continued support from you guys. We appreciate it.
I think, Mr. Sides, the one thing that I like the curriculum committee to think about now in preparation for the spring is we really need to take another look at our tutoring model. We have had tremendous success with elementary and middle schools, as you all have seen the data on this. And it's a model that I believe we need to think about scalability. And Maxie's been able to figure out within his own budget between Title I, EPIC, his local funds, how he could do the tutoring model. But he's not receiving additional funds from us to do that. And so one thing that we are studying is, are there other schools like Wingate or East Union or Monroe that could benefit from the board funding tutors like they have in our focus schools? We did not budget for that for this year. We waited to see what the data said. And now that we've had 2 years in a row of a proven model, it is something that we are strongly considering how to expand to other Title I and non-Title I schools. And so thankfully, under Maxie's leadership, they've been able to figure out how to do that this year. But I believe that there are other schools that could benefit from that. And that's something that Dr. Breedlove and I are going to work with.
So you're tutoring now on 4th and 5th grade.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, it would make sense, since really the big push is on 3rd grade, that we find a way to expand that downward. So how many tutors do you have, and how do you determine who gets tutored? Do they get pulled out of a class, or how exactly do you apply the tutoring model in your school?
So our model is going to be a little bit different from some of the other schools, but we looked closely at Benton Heights Elementary School and looked at their data. They did a wonderful job. And so in talking with Dr. Boatwright, we've kind of followed along with their model and the way they planned it out. But every fourth grader every day gets tutoring. And so during our math block, there is a 30-minute window where all of our teachers that teach 4th grade, and also we have TAs that are in there as well. And then we have some tutors that we have hired through Title I. And during that time, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, that is when we are hitting all of those 4th grade students every single day, even our AIG students as well. So,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Same for 5th?
And for 5th, yes, 5th, we're still, working and expanding on that, but they are seeing every day. They may not be during that 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock schedule, but throughout the day, they are receiving it. And there's more in the classroom.
And your feedback, not only from scores, but also from the teachers themselves, is they feel this has been a valuable experience.
Absolutely. It's been a huge experience, but specifically for our 5th grade teachers, because when they come up to 5th grade, well, they have a level playing field that they can start from with teaching, instead of having to go back and fill in those gaps that was left from 4th grade if they didn't have the tutoring model.
How many tutors, outside tutors, did you have to bring in?
Currently, I have 4 that from the outside, but I have 9 staffing total
Okay.
altogether.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you.
Okay. Are we ready to move on to, yes. That's right. We'll need to take a vote to support the plan for this school. We'll do it individually to support that it be submitted to the full board for the full board's approval. So I will need a motion to approve the plan for improvement for Wingate Elementary School. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. It is unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Yep. All right, we're going to move on to East Union Middle School. Dr. Crawford, it's
Good morning.
nice to see you again.
It's good to be here. I am Cindy Crawford. I am the principal at East Union Middle School. Very, very happy to be there. So I want to share with you this morning our school improvement plan. So on the first page, as you can see, if you look to the right-hand column, you can see that we have made some significant gains as it relates to our proficiency levels. So we are very proud of that. On the left-hand side, our school performance, our score or report card scored is a D. We did not meet growth this past year. However, we are certainly trending in the right direction. Our growth index score this past year was a negative 3.2 as compared to a negative 7.66 the previous year. So we are trending in the right area as far as growth and proficiency. If you look at the next page, I just want to highlight some of our accomplishments. First of all, I want to say that we were 1 point away from being a C school. And so when we talked to the staff about it, we celebrated that. And the staff said, that's great. We can be a C, definitely, but we're going to be a B. So we have our eyes set on being a B school. We know that we can get there. We have made significant gains in math the past year, as well as our subgroups. We are really meeting growth in a lot of our subgroups that have not met growth in years past. So these are our four. As Dr. Hogston mentioned earlier, there are 12 indicators, but we have selected 4 that we're going to really focus on this year. And, this slide highlights the 4 indicators that we're going to work on this year. But if you turn to the next page, it kind of breaks it down a little bit more. So there are really 3 focus areas that relate to our school improvement plan that we're focusing on this year. And the first is community building. And when I say community building, I'm talking about building those positive and supportive relationships within the classrooms across the school. And it really focuses on that social and emotional learning because it's teaching our students how to respond and react to one another, how to respond and react in certain situations. And so as we teach those social and emotional learning skills, our overall goal is that we're going to see a decrease in student referrals, right? Because students are going to be able to know, how to address situations when they come upon them. And also an increase in the social and emotional learning that is so important for our students. The second area that supports our school improvement goal is creating a culture of reading. That is a big area that we know that we need to focus on, and really building stamina. And that means that we're creating this love of reading, and we are making sure that we're giving our students as many opportunities to read and to read for longer periods of time. Because the research shows that the more students read, the more that they're academically successful. So we want to improve our growth as well as our proficiency in reading. And then the last area of focus is on our empowered teaching and learning. And so that really starts in our professional learning communities when our teachers come together to plan lessons. That's where it all happens. And so we're focusing heavily on PLCs this year. and in the professional learning communities, focusing on making sure that the teachers are creating lessons that are relevant to the students so that they know this is what I'm learning and this is why I'm learning it. And then also making sure that the lessons are engaging, that it's not just a sit and get, that the kids are the ones investing in their learning. So the way that we're going to do this, if you'll turn to the next page. So for community building, we are implementing a tiered approach, meaning that social and emotional learning, we're teaching that to every student in the building, not just the students who we know need support with that. All of our students need support. So on a daily basis, we have morning meetings and we are teaching those social and emotional learning skills. Now, there's students that need even more support. So we have small groups. Our counselors, our social workers, our mental health therapist is working in small groups to support the students that need additional support. In reading, we have created a balanced literacy framework this year where all of our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade reading teachers are consistently using that framework that we've created. And then finally, with our empowered teaching and learning, as I mentioned, PLCs, we are implementing a very specific structure in which teachers are planning lessons and having those data conversations within their PLCs. We are also differentiating professional development this year. So we have teachers will sign up for different breakout sessions that they will attend this year based upon what their needs are. I want to give you, because this is a huge part of, of our growth and our goals, supporting our goals. So I want to give you an ag tech update. So we are very excited about our ag tech focus. And, we partner with Wingate University. We partner with Union County Agriculture Center. And we're excited because we're getting a new greenhouse this year. We are building a community garden, and the kids will be responsible for the upkeep of that. And that ties in our community because they will actually come and, enjoy the garden. And we are getting farm bots. And so I don't know if you've seen farm bots, but they're little robots and they'll be able to help take care of our gardens. So we're excited about that. Yes. So we're excited about that. We're not exactly sure how that's going to work yet, but that's on the table. And so we are planning for it. But we do have a three-phase plan for really making, the ag tech a comprehensive program at our school.
While Dr. Crawford mentions that, it was mentioned in the start of it earlier, I had a conversation with Dr. Brown, the president at Wingate, yesterday, and they've been very pleased with this partnership. They're looking at funding a full-time STEM liaison from the university to be on site 4 out of 5 days a week at East Union to help with professional development and curriculum and resources, much like we have the partnership with Atrium at Monroe. And so I just want to speak on behalf of the partnership that they've been very, very pleased with how things are going so far with the implementation in phase 1.
Well, I wanted to ask about that. I was curious if we're going to follow the model similar to Monroe Middle and look for some type of corporate involvement where East Union Middle would become the agriculture or the XYZ Agricultural Technology Academy at East Union Middle. Boy, that's a mouthful. Are you I see the partnership with Wingate. I'm just wondering if somewhere in the private sector there might be an opportunity for partnership as well. Mm-hmm. Is that part of the track?
That is definitely our goal. We want to much like Monroe Middle School, we want to be an ag tech school. Mm-hmm. That is definitely the goal.
Well, you have Pilgrim's Pride and
Tyson and others, and you've got two other primary partners. One is, Dr. Crawford mentioned, the Ag Extension and
Yes.
NC State. That's a big partner, both in the state and locally.
Right.
They're very much invested in this. And then the third one is the Aldrin Family Foundation, which is out of Florida. And they're looking at, if you might have seen pictures on social media just last week, I think it was, they had a moon mapping project where kids had a giant, was it moon or Mars?
This was
It's
moon.
That a giant
Oh, yeah.
map of the moon with a professor from Wingate and individuals from NASA and the foundation that were there and there was no cost to the school at all to do this activity for their kids, where they're literally engaging in life on the moon and parts of the moon. And we did that at Cuthbertson Middle School and East Union Middle School this year so far, with plans to expand. So there are a number of very invested partners. I think the private sector is one that we're still trying to explore.
Well, the reason I bring that up is I don't want this to be the best kept secret in Eastern Union County. And I think part of what to me has brought it to the forefront is the way the actual name of the academy as part of the school to show that this is a strong area we're moving. And so I applaud the progress, and I look forward to the private sector involvement that you're pursuing and it becoming recognized as a full-blown academy, just like Monroe Middle School. I know it takes a while to get there.
Right.
Could you talk a little bit about the socioeconomic makeup of your school?
So East Union is kind of a well-balanced school. We have, give or take, equal numbers of our white, our African-American, and our Hispanic.
This is your first year.
Correct.
Did you have the additional challenge? How would you rate the teacher turnover coming into your first year? Was it heavier than usual? So you're working through breaking in newer staff, average? What
I think
do you have the
it
figures?
has been pretty typical to what it has been in the past.
I think we can all agree that teacher turnover, it's tough. You get somebody trained and get them pointed in the right direction, and then they move on or move to another school. So, correct me if I'm wrong. There's a good correlation between lower teacher turnover and overall success of the school. So
That is definitely a challenge, but I think, with the support of, we have instructional coaches, mentors for our beginning teachers, curriculum support in place, those things are key to really keeping, sustaining our, the teachers at our school.
and a good principal.
That's important too. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to support moving on the site improvement plan for East Union Middle School onto the full board for final approval.
Make a motion.
And we'll need a second. Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, unanimous. Thank you very much, Dr. Crawford. All right, last but not least, Health Sciences Academy at Monroe Middle School. Ms. Giddings, we'll welcome you to Union County Public Schools and to the curriculum committee. We're glad to have you here and look forward to hearing what you have to tell us about the good things happening at your school.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Kasha Giddens, the proud principal of Health Sciences Academy at Monroe Middle School. So can you turn the page? So I've had the opportunity to look over several years of data, and I thought this would give us the most bang for our buck to see how well our students performed last year. So you can see the big four, basically the school performance score and the school achievement score and the school growth score and the school growth index. And you can see we've grown tremendously in all four of those areas. And we're super proud and we've celebrated. But of course, we're putting our nose back down to the grindstone because there's a lot of work to do. So with so much growth, there's got to be a whole host of accomplishments. So you see, we have a lot of them, but I'm just going to focus on a few. So you are speaking in the last presentation in reference to teacher turnover. And I definitely agree with you in reference to high turnover, being impactful to student performance. So one of the things that we're really working for is to support our new teachers once they come in. Once we've hired the right individual, providing the appropriate support. So one of the things we're doing is the flight program, and we actually have it separated out for BT1s, beginning teachers, and 1 year, and then 2 year and 3 year. And they're broken out into separate groups to make sure they have appropriate support depending on where they are in the cycle. And administration attends those meetings, but they're run by our teachers who are in the trenches, knowing what's going on in the classrooms and understanding our students in a different way than an administrator necessarily would. So we want to just make sure they're completely supported and so that they survive and thrive and start doing really well. The other thing I would like to focus on is the discipline decrease. So 11.25% from last year, which is really good. But when you look at specifically about the office referrals and decrease in suspensions over 50%, that's really important to us because when students aren't in class, they're away from instruction, and that is huge. So if you want to grow a school, you want students to perform better, they need to be in class. So you can turn to the next slide. So we have it a little bit out of order, but our school improvement goals, our building culture is everything. From every person that walks in our building, who works in our building, we want them to feel like they're a part of the process. And so that's why we go all in. Community, cafeteria, the officers, every part of our building, you have to be all in for us to continue to make that growth because we're 1 point away from being a C. So there's a sense of urgency and we want everyone to feel that. So it has to be collaborative. If we continue to work in silos, we won't be able to make the progress that is necessary. So we're continuing to increase the availability of our tutors that really kind of helped us realize some of this growth in 7th grade. We've actually moved that to 6th and 8th grade in our inclusion settings. So we don't have the manpower to duplicate it completely. So we've not taken away any of the tutors in the 7th grade, but we have moved some to the 6th and 8th grade, hopefully to realize some of that growth that we've had in the last couple of years.
Well, you said something that caught my attention. You don't have the manpower to implement this across the board. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but we're working on it.
Well, we be working on it too.
Okay.
Do we know what she needs to get to this? I know we're almost mid school year, but I mean, this needs to be for next year.
Yeah, we're studying it, and these two particular schools, they have the most tutors of any school in the county right now. And I don't remember the numbers, but to do this effectively, when you're looking at tutoring every single kid every single day in math for 30 to 40 minutes, they don't have the funding or the manpower to do that for every 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And remember, the reason we targeted 7th grade is because historically your data has shown us over the last 5 to 10 years that 7th grade math is becoming the issue. They're going like this with 6th grade, they're plummeting with 7th, then your 8th grade teachers are spinning their wheels and trying to get them caught back up. So the goal is with your feeder schools at Monroe and the elementary, who also have the tutoring model, that when you get to 6th grade, you're already at grade level proficiency, and that 7th grade, you're taking them to a whole new level through the tutoring model. What we're actually seeing is that when students that are going through this in 7th grade, when they get to 8th grade, their proficiency rates are the highest they've ever been. And they're actually maintaining that and improving. So we have really good data to support it. So Mr. Sides, we're studying the cost of what it would take and how you would create a master schedule to do that for 3 grade levels. The hard thing that we're running into is where do you find the people? When you have so many schools in this county now doing the tutoring, your tutoring pool is beginning to dwindle a little bit. So that's becoming kind of the recruitment and staffing challenge. But they've had tremendous success the past 2 years with this model. And I think what Ms. Giddens is saying is they're trying to figure out how to expand it a little bit.
So it's right now, it's for 7th grade math.
Correct.
Is there being tutored?
Completely. But there, we
Completely.
do have tutors available in 6th and 8th grade. So we're just trying to spread the effort.
As students are identified that need the help,
Yes.
but you can't help
do all.
everybody.
Correct.
Now, how about reading?
We don't have a tutor program for the
Okay.
ELA.
Okay.
So the other thing that we're really working on is the PLC, our professional teams, growing them and making sure that they have the appropriate supports and that they are collaborating, and just we share timely messages in that capacity as well. So it's just an opportunity for the admin, the grade levels, and the teams to continue to work together and to iron out some of the things that we need to make sure we continue to grow. Next slide. So our plan for success. We need to, like I said, continue to work on our culture. We have to set clear expectations, procedures, everything that we're going to do. There's a process for everything, and making sure everybody knows their role in that process. That's how we kind of help build the culture. When everyone knows their role, then you can feel free to kind of engage in the better parts of our school. And that's really important to us. The other thing is providing ongoing feedback for our teachers. You can't help teachers grow if you're not spending time in their classrooms and provide them timely feedback. And so our instructional coaches are helping in the process as well. So the instructional coaches and the admin are working together, going to do instructional rounds beginning at the end of the month together to try to provide consistent feedback with similar language. And continue, of course, with the extensions of the HSA program in the elementary schools and the high school. It's super exciting for us because it started with us first, but it's going to help us realize a lot of things and create more energy around the program. And so our key indicator focus from the N.C.Star program, we have 4 that we're really going to try to focus on this year. And some of them we've already gained a little bit of ground on, but they're all supporting our school improvement goals that you saw on the previous slides. But basically, they all tie into the PLCs and setting that culture and making sure that we focus on extending, what we already have with the HSA. So those are the things that we're really trying to focus on. And that's it for me.
I have a couple questions, if I might. Going back to accomplishments, could you talk a little bit about your creation and growth of Parent Council?
Yes. So there was some ground gain last year with Mr. Ferguson. He started to meet with them, and we've actually hit the ground running with that. So we've already met with them once, and we're going to have a parent family night and some of our local establishments to try to just get some more visibility to the program and what we have going on. We've had some guest speakers from the Boys and Girls Club come in. So, when you draw parents out, of course, you want to have refreshments and all of that and give them an opportunity to have a voice, but you also want to be able to give them something to take back to feel like we're helping them as well. So that's really something we're trying to grow. And then we're trying to get some officers set up so they can really feel some ownership and some autonomy in their group.
Speaking of parents, is it an issue for any of your, that has an impact of parents not having internet access at home for students to be able to work at home? Are you finding that has an impact?
That's not been a part of the conversation I've had with many parents.
Okay.
Some of the conversations that would say that the parents think that they have too much internet access at home.
All right. But I will say, Mr.
Conversely.
Sides, you all may be familiar with our partnership with Sprint 1 million.
Yes.
We're in all 11 high schools, and we're looking to become the first school system in the nation to expand that to middle schools.
Great.
That is something that Sprint has not currently endorsed, but because of our success rate, we're looking at that partnership growing in that area. Across all of our middle schools as well, because I think there is probably a need.
There's I'm sure a pocket.
Correct.
Could you elaborate a little bit on your Million Men and Women in the Making?
Yes, it's our partnership with Heart for Monroe. And so we meet every other Tuesday, and we have a select group of students, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And they actually have mentors that come out from the community who help. We work through some things like we've done interviewing skills. We've done how to dress for occasions with the ties. They've done team working opportunities. And so this is something that we're really trying to continue to build and keep relevant and help encourage our students to perform better. Just another engagement tool for us.
The Healthcare Academy. Let's see, we're up to 7th grade now, 8th grade now. Golly, time's flying. Could you elaborate a little bit on your plans for continuing to your future plans for the Healthcare Academy piece?
So our plans include looking at the schedule, making sure that we focus our energies on the students that we have, so we can, right now we only have a certain number of teachers who work in that capacity. So it's just trying to make sure that we hit all the right notes and prepare them for the 3 pathways that are at the high school. So we'll have the benefit after next year of having students come to us even more prepared than before. So we're looking on how we can collaborate with our peers at the elementary school and the high school to make sure that they're prepared for the new program that's getting ready to come up.
I know this is your first year at Monroe Middle, and I don't know in your previous experience if you've been exposed to an academy such as this, but could you elaborate a little bit on the feedback you're getting from teachers and students as far as the excitement level on this academy?
I guess with anything like that, it's always a mixed bag. We have some people who are super excited about that, but we actually have plans to help get everyone completely buy in, because it's not going anywhere and it's going to continue to expand. So we have committees that support all of our major initiatives in the building. And so we have a health sciences committee, and there are people involved who are not health science teachers, so that they can continue to kind of spread the goodness throughout the whole entire building. And we have opportunities at faculty meetings to share that feedback so that everyone continues to be informed about our process and where we are and what we're doing, because that will make people feel more included and feel like they can support all of it. So the one thing that we're looking for to schedule to having a integration time in every subject, and that will also help with making sure everybody's a part of the process.
I think with any new program or academy, it's constantly evolving. And we always had a goal that by the end of this year, year 3, that it would be integrated across all core academic. We're not there, to be honest with you, right now. It's a work in progress. And I think under Ms. Giddens' leadership, we're trying to evolve it and assess kind of where we are and look at programmatic changes that we can do specifically to make the life of the health sciences teachers a little bit more manageable when it comes to planning and prepping. And you think about it, if you're a health sciences teacher, you're covering 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, different classes for different grade levels. It's a lot to manage. And that, I think, has been one of the biggest challenges that we've seen. So even last week in a cross-functional executive team meeting with Atrium, we've been talking about, do we need to make some changes to programming, classes, schedule, so that we can do a better job of recruiting and retaining our teachers. But I'm very proud of the way Ms. Giddens has come in. Really worked hard to build relationships. She just was part of a team that went to Houston last week to look at various models of health sciences schools from elementary all the way to high school. And I think now kind of really is beginning to she got it before. I think she really started to get it in terms of what the possibilities could be. And as a superintendent, I'm really excited about the fact that for the first time ever, you're going to have elementary, middle, and high schools that are vertically aligned around the same common programming, much like you have in the Sun Valley cluster with Leader and Me, trying to grow that. We'll now have that in Monroe and beginning next year, which is really exciting for our families.
Ms. Giddens, as someone who accompanied Dr. Houlihan and staff out to a visit to Houston, how long ago was that? 4 years ago? Holy cow. I came back on fire about what we were trying to do. It was exciting to see the collaboration with the University of Houston Hospital there. And did you take her to that middle school is that teacher still there? We've tried to steal her.
The principal was promoted. She got stolen from within. She's now in central services.
Oh, okay.
But,
Well, I'm sure you came back very excited about the potential
Yes.
of what could happen with your program. So, and I think it's been a great advantage having someone come in with a fresh look at it and seeing, let's do this. So I would encourage you, I would encourage everyone, let's continue to experiment and evolve with the program. It's all new ground. There's really nothing, we're writing the script as we go on this thing, but I would encourage you to continue to take it to the next level and whatever we can do to support that. Any other questions? I didn't mean to be hogging the questions. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the improvement plan for the Health Sciences Academy at Monroe Middle School. Have a motion, need a second. We'll take Mrs. Helms as a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. That is unanimous.
So before you all leave the table, I do want to say on behalf of our entire team, I want to thank the board and thank the curriculum committee, especially for your support and involvement and high level of expectations and praise for our schools that have been labeled low performing. You all know, and we know as a system, our goal was to have all of our schools become C or higher. Last year, we were extremely close. You've heard the words 1 point away or 1/10 of a point away. And we're on the cusp of making history in the school system. And that cannot happen without your support and without your involvement in what we're doing. So I want to say thank you. But I also want to say thank you to these three and to your leadership team members and your teachers, because what you're doing in your schools is making a tremendous difference. And so I'll please express our sincere gratitude for not just putting together a plan. That's kind of the easy part. The hard part is actually implementing it. And so thank you to the three of you and to Dr. Harris and Dr. McKinnon for your great support of our leaders. So just wanted to say thank you.
And I'll just say my 5 years on the board, this is the smallest group we have in front of us in my time. That's a good thing. We like small groups, but I didn't get a chance to ask Dr. Crawford and Ms. Giddings, but I'll just relay this in a form of a comment. If there is something as a board that we need to do, all three of you, as it goes for any principal in our school system, has our support, but we can't always know what you need unless you ask. So don't be shy. As far as it, I'll just speak for myself. Don't be shy if there's something we need to, address. All of you, as all of our principals, have our support on what tools or whatever you need to get these goals, because we're accountable too for all of these to be achieved. We're accountable as well. So you have our support, and I'll just speak from other members here of the committee, but we left anything out, you make sure we know about it through what have you. Okay. Thank you.
I just wanted to say it's impressive to see how everything is trending in the right direction. I like what was said a minute ago. I can't remember who said it. Let's shoot for a B. I mean, we're almost at sea level, but and I know you guys will. It's good to see, put faces with everything here and know what's going on. And I echo what he said. If there's anything we can do, please reach out to us. I like our focus we're going towards with tutoring. And there are ways out there we can improve that, and I know we can, and just so many good things ahead. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys, even the Cowboy fan.
And I would encourage my fellow board members to reach out to these principals and visit their schools. It is always enlightening for me. I like to personally, and I've been reaching out. I like to go visit site-based team meetings. I mean, you can walk around the school building and see where this is and where that is, but I think it goes a long way to sit down with the site-based team and say, okay, how are we doing? What do we need to be doing? Tell me about your school. So I would encourage all board members to get out to visit schools and get to put even more, like Travis said, even more of the faces with the names. So, okay. Thank you very much for taking the time out to join us today.
I haven't said what I had to say, Gary.
Please.
Calm down. I echo what my colleagues have said. Words cannot express my gratitude as well as our community's gratitude for what you have done for our schools and students. So thank you.
Okay. Have we addressed item D?
What we'll do now, what we ask permission to do from this committee is to upload all of the school improvement plans for all of our schools and give that out to the full board for review, and then put on the upcoming November Board of Education plan, just like we typically do each year. And once those are approved by the full board, we can then make them public. And so at this point, we look for action to be able to do that.
We'll entertain a motion to move forward with the action plans for the support of the full board. All right.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Ms. Helms? There she is. All right. Unanimous. Okay, we'll move to item 3, which is a Canvas update. Dr. Breedlove, I believe you're going
Yes.
to take that away for us.
I did. I put this on here because we had talked about Canvas in the past, and I'm very fortunate to work with our technology services department, and Mr. Parker was able to run some data, and it was very laborious, let me say, for him to do. It took several weeks to kind of go in, because you had to go in one by one. And what we were looking for is active pages for each teacher. Number one, do our teachers have Canvas pages? And then that's one report. And then how active are those reports? And while we do have very good results in certain schools and among certain grade levels with teachers, we did find that we're not we're not where we feel that we should be with Canvas as our complete LMS across the system. And since then, we have worked with our principals. We have identified individual teachers and that principals are working with. And it really comes down to, once again, professional development and getting more training out. And with the help of Ms. Rimmer, with the help of our instructional support staff, we've not only put in coursework, both face-to-face and online coursework, but Ms. Rimmer has developed several templates to allow teachers easy implementation of Canvas across the board. Now, is there the Cadillac of Canvas courses out there that we can use as a model? Yes, there is. But do we expect every teacher to be at that Cadillac version? Probably not. It will take additional time, but we have identified really what we need to do, and we are moving forward with that expectation that Canvas is our LMS. That's what we're paying for. It's a one-stop shop for our parents. Instead of learning multiple LMSs, Union County Public Schools is Canvas, and our goal is to get this system-wide at least through grade levels 3 through 12. Our kindergarten, first, second, it's a sophisticated program, and probably we're going to not make that an expectation for K through 2 at this point. But since students have computers in grades 3 through 12, and in 6 through 12, take them home, Canvas is the expectation.
Any questions or comments?
Thank you.
Okay. We'll move to item 4, information.
Those are just all of the items for the school improvement plans, and those will be taken to the full board based on the action, and we will upload those this evening, and every board member will have all school improvement plans for the district.
All righty, next meeting date.
November the 21st is on the calendar. Because of Thanksgiving and all that, we had to move that up.
And
we will.
What's preference? Ms. Helms, does 9 o'clock still work best for you? Okay, we'll make 9 o'clock our, unless otherwise notified, our standard time. And I would also just say, Dr. Greenwald, if you feel like we don't have enough for a full agenda and you want to hold off until December, we'll inform you.
Okay.
Do you have items right now you anticipate for the
Not-
November agenda?
Not right now, but a lot of times what we'll do is we'll go back and we'll take a look at any type of programming that we have or programs that need to be approved by the committee and full board, and we could bring those to. But if we don't, then obviously we would look for a December meeting at that point. I can do that as soon as possible. As far as the November agenda, we'll go back and identify that. And I would say by next week, I can let everyone know, because I know you have plans in that you want to make as well.
So we'll have next week information to confirm we will have the November.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Any other business or comments before the committee? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn? Second. Second. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.